Hello, everyone. Live at lunch with Mo and special guest in the house today, David Patchell-Evans, and fondly known as Patch. So you're live, we're live for the next 20 minutes, and I think this is the first time that I've ever been able to do this with you.
I'm lucky.
We've been working together for 35 years, and we do so many things together, but live on social media.
I'm actually surprised she has survived 35 years stuck with me.
Yeah. Well, that's how, success leaves clues. So yeah, it truly is. Really, I'm grateful. Coming off Thanksgiving weekend, very grateful to have you here.
Oh, I feel lucky to be here. I'm looking forward to answering any questions you have and connecting with people. It's awesome.
That's what we like to do, and that's why we do live at lunch on Tuesdays here at canfitpro office in Markham. And it's always great to connect with you and share experiences, answer questions, give you tidbits of invaluable knowledge. So today, to maybe spur on the conversation and to get your questions out there, we've got Bonnie who's going to keep her eye on the questions and shoot them out as they come. But to get us started,
you're welcome.
So to get us started today, I wanted to take the opportunity. You've just traveled back from Brazil.
Yep.
And you gallivant around the world, which sounds like such a thrill, but it's a lot of work.
Airports are just so much fun.
It's a lot of work, but you do that because you have this incredible passion for this industry. And as the founder and CEO of canfitpro, I'd love you to start our conversation by sharing why. Why do you do what you do? Why canfitpro? And we'll take it from there.
It was interesting when I was just talking to the staff here at canfitpro, and they're a great group of people, about the very same subject. And it's about having gratitude for the opportunity and enjoying the opportunity. So there's not many jobs, not many things you can do where you get to change the course of history, to change people's lives, which are the same thing. So if we can make people feel better about themselves, we make them live longer, we can make them look better, if we can give more energy, we actually make the world a better place. We start with each individual and it multiplies. So that's really what I feel we do at canfitpro, is we change the course of people's lives. We enrich their lives. We lengthen our lives. We add quality to their lives. That's why I get a kick out of it. That's why I like to go around the world, see what else everybody's doing, get the best ideas and bring them back here to Toronto, bring them back here to Canada, and make Canadians the fittest people on the planet, which is what I believe we are.
Yeah. Well, I want to say congratulations because, as you know, but I'll just remind all of the viewers that canfitpro is a member-driven organization, and we are 100,000 strong with almost 25,000 certified fitness professionals with canfitpro at this time. So what started off as a little project off the side of our desks back in 1993 has really come to shape exactly what your personal purpose is to help people feel better, live longer. And we do that through fitness education. And it's done amazing things for Canada. And
people come from all around the world to canfitpro because per capita, we are deeper into the Canadian population than any other organization in the fitness industry in the world. So we're making a difference where it counts at the grassroots, and people from around the world come to see how we do it.
That's right? Very true. That's very true. And people come from all over the world to learn from us, to see what is going on in education. And also, we just happen to have this reputation of having the greatest presenters with our conferences.
We're lucky that way.
Lucky that way. We're known all over the world as the Canucks who love education. So, we really value education and we seek it out. And that sets very high standards as well. And you know that to be true from the global travel that you've done to see the good, bad, and then the great, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. I was presenting in Shanghai, for example, and had different cultures from all over Asia there and seeing how they respond differently to education.
Mm.
And what I get from presenters at canfitpro, who also present around the world, is what they love about you, the members, is that when you're in a session, you can tell that you want to learn. And you have no idea what a difference that makes. And I saw that in the cultures in Shanghai, is the cultures that were invested in learning and the ones that were there because they were supposed to be.
Mm.
And in Canada, you're here because you want to be and because you want to make a difference. And that reflects in our population. It reflects in the fact that we're fitter than our a lot of our neighboring countries, and that we have a higher level of education. It's because you guys are taking responsibility for yourselves and for the people out there. So thank you.
So with the fitness industry being very disruptive, as most industries are today, can you tell us what you've been seeing in the last while that's going to change the trajectory of the industry and what people really need to connect with in order to be ready and to be able to step into this opportunity?
Well, the neatest thing I see in our industry is that the opportunity to be a great instructor, the great trainer is increasing because of the availability of stuff online. So people can go online and they lose their fear. So if I'm wondering how to do a bench press, for example, and I don't want to look silly in front of my trainer, which is one of the number one fears people have is, looking silly. So if I can see how to do it online, I can practice, and then I can go in, and when I have a trainer, feel like I'm not a newbie all the time, then people are more likely to try it. And it's the same with virtual classes. If I can do a virtual class and get used to, how I move my feet, how I move my arms, have a sense of beat, know what beat is. So when I go into class, I feel like I fit in a little bit, right? And I don't feel like I'm brand new on the block. And so I think the wonderful thing is technology is bringing more people into real experiences. And it makes them appreciate real experiences. And it's just like people are going to concerts more than ever. And, there are more ways to get your music online. It's because they want the live experience and they appreciate it because they've already heard it at home or on their phone.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say that if you are a personal trainer or a fitness instructor, what I gain from your message patch is do not fear the technology that's here, because it's here.
Oh, it's fantastic.
The more you know about it, the more you can actually educate your clients and your class participants so that they can experience it in the way that they want to experience it. And then, of course, it's just like anything else. They're going to remember you for having referred them to another source of fitness advice. It's just like giving advice. And then they're going to remember you, come back to you, because at the end of the day, and this is what I hear from everyone that I speak to about where the industry is going, is nothing will replace the live experience because it's an experience, but you can complement
it broadens the audience, the amount of people that want the live experience, because more people are aware of it. It's like books. When books first came out, people were afraid that, now I have to share my knowledge. Well, all that happened is more people read more books, became more knowledgeable in industry, our lives, everything got better, right? So books existed. All the stuff that we have online was in a book.
Yeah.
Right? You could flip through the manual and you could see how to do it. Well, now it's just easier, it's better, it's faster. And more people access it. And so it's just going to help us.
It's going to help us. We don't want to fear it. We actually want to embrace it. And then, of course, there's an opportunity too to be involved in that, development or that part of the industry that we would never even think that we might have a role or an opportunity to be involved in.
Well, yeah, now it doesn't depend on who you know. It just depends on what you know.
There you go.
So you can be accessible. You can put something on YouTube and people can say, hey, look at me, look at her, look at him.
Yeah, and building that network, it's interesting. We know this to be true, that when you build your own network, you have more people in your class, you get more clients. And so it's not just what you do in that hour that you teach or train, it's what you do in the other hours of the day to become your best, but also to build your followers. And that's a really important strategy today, right?
Yes. Well, the key strategy now, it's not just what you put online. The key strategy is still how you deliver.
Absolutely.
Right? So you can say whatever you want online and people will say, well, it's not really like that. So you better deliver. So you better be a great instructor. You better be a great trainer. And then you can talk about it online, right?
So good segue is, what's your number one tip for a personal trainer to become better? And what's your number one tip for a group fitness instructor to become better?
In both cases is to be present.
Ooh, what does that mean?
So, but if you're a personal trainer and you're present, you're watching you're watching how the person breathes. You're watching the effort they're making. You're watching if they're engaged, and you're encouraging them. You're paying 100% attention to the person you're with. So you're not thinking about what's in your phone. You're not thinking about what's going on around you. You're just paying attention to them, and then they know it, right? Like, you know if someone's paying attention to you, right? So if you're totally focused on them, their feeling will be, you got me.
Yeah.
Like, you're with me.
You got me at hello.
Yeah. And so they did a study one time where the trainer didn't talk at all, just paid attention to them, and people's performance went up 20%.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're just actually giving feedback and talking to people and not disengaged, totally present, people will be aware of it. So when you teach a class, it's the same thing. If you know your choreography, if you know the music, and you got all down, if you're not thinking about what you're doing, you can focus on the people in the room. You can be totally present with them. You can pay attention if someone's got their leg going up the wrong way. You can pay attention if, you can tell a tall guy takes shorter motions. So, I know I'm tall, right? Take shorter motions so you can keep up with the instructor.
And you modify.
You can modify things for people. And people know that if you're looking them in the eyes, or you're checking up on them, they know that you're present. You're not thinking about how you do the class, you're thinking about how they do the class, right? You're not thinking about if you're a trainer, you're not thinking about what you're going to do next. You're thinking about what are they doing now. So being present is the most important thing you can give someone. That's why they call it present. You gave me a present.
I love that. So I'm going to get into something business and then personal, but before I do, I just want to say, do you remember you taught me, as I was teaching you about how to teach a fitness class, you taught me one of the best tips and strategies for being present. So I'm going to share that with all of you. And it's a simple strategy. So when you're working one-on-one with a client, you got them, line of view, present, just so they feel that connection. But when you're in a group atmosphere, think of your room, split it in 4 squares. You've got your front right, front left, back right, back left. And during your class, make an effort to connect with each of the squares throughout your class. And then by the end of your class, you will have connected with everyone in your room. Because we kind of get tunnel vision. We are always looking at the people in the front row.
Yeah, you get a comfort zone.
Yeah,
And
or you watch the people at the door.
The whole room has to be your comfort zone.
Yeah, so you just break up that room in 4 quadrants and you hit the center point of each of those 4. And even the peripheral feelings people have, they think you're looking at them and seeing them. So it was a really great tip, and I still use it today. Yeah,
and there's other ways you can do it. You can, when you start, you can stick a friend in each quadrant.
Oh.
So you're looking.
You didn't tell me that part.
I know, but you send someone there whose job it is to smile at you.
I love
so you're teaching a class you've never taught, and you said their job is to smile at you. So they smile at you, you smile back, everybody's happy, and then everyone else thinks you're smiling at them, but you're getting constant feedback, right? Or a color, right? Say, okay, I like red's my favorite color, so I'll look for who's got red in a different place in the room. So it gives me a reason to move around, right? Because what happens sometimes, you can tend to teach to your favorite side.
Or you're stuck on stage, because in some teaching methodologies, you stay on stage. So you got to still be able to work the room.
Yeah, all the work's right here. It's not where your body's going, it's where your eyes are going.
Oh, I love that. All right, so I'm going to check in. Bonnie, do we have any questions?
We actually do have one that came in through email. The question is, what do you hope to accomplish in 2020? And this is for both Mo and for Patch.
You're first. You're my guest. I let guests go first. What are you hoping to accomplish? And is this professional, personal?
It doesn't say.
Okay, so let's hit both.
Yeah.
Professionally, what are you hoping to accomplish for 2020? And then personal.
I kind of measure my success by the emails and the feedback I get that we made a difference, right? So, I gave a speech to the top hip and knee surgeons last week in Toronto, actually. And, so I got some emails from them saying how it made a difference to them, talking about prehab and rehab and stuff like that. So for me, doing a few things like that are risky, because I was really nervous giving this speech to the doctors. I thought, okay, am I qualified to be talking to all these docs, right? And I'm talking about something I understand a lot, but they might not like the idea, or they might know a lot more. So I find doing something risky, then getting feedback on it and growing from it. So that's one of the things I want to do, is keep doing some risky things and growing from it. And then, there's a couple of mountains I want to ski down that are really risky. And so I've already got them in my head. I'm already training for them.
Yeah, wow.
And I know, they're really steep, and, they'll have to be the right day with the right snow, but, they're like cliffs, and I just want to go down. just once I got to go down that particular run.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
there's one I got in my head. It's about 6 feet wide and it's 300 or 400 feet long, and I just got to shoot down that. Boom, 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 boom. And then I'll have a beer.
Love it. So for mine, professionally, it is to create experiences for CanFitPro members that are seamless and easy so that you can actually create your career path. And we are doing that here at CanFitPro with a technology transformation that helps you to find what it is to get you started in the fitness industry. And if you're already with us, then it is to help us guide you to the next step in your journey. As I've been learning through speaking with people throughout the industry, we hear it all the time, is people get in it for passion and they stay in it because they are changing lives, as you just so
But it does
frankly
help to
say.
know what should I take next.
But you need to know the path, right?
And it's our job at CanFitPro to say, okay, here's the next logical course for you.
That's my goal with CanFitPro on a professional level. And the other is to keep the conversation with women in the fitness industry growing strong, and to take that personally. It is my goal to start the first Women in Fitness event in Saudi Arabia with a Women Who Influence event, perhaps in 2020. Personal and professional
At a
goal.
women's conference.
You are, high five.
Yeah.
That was one of your goals for 2019.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. It's gonna be interesting. I wanna hear how that goes.
I'm not sure I'm qualified, but
He's very qualified.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can say that because I've worked with them for 35 years. Just stay out of the questions around hormones and those kinds of things, and you'll be
just
just
because I
fine.
have no background. But I mean, the idea, that's one of the things that's risky. I got asked to speak at
Get
this
them
conference.
comfortable.
It's, essentially a women's conference, and why do you qualify to get there? Are you qualified to speak? You got to make sure that you're saying the right thing in the appropriate way, but telling the truth, right?
Wow. Well, I just happen to know that if you set a goal, that's great because it puts a dream on paper, but you got to put action behind it. And of course, we know the SMART goal philosophy, but you got to do that next step. One thing I do know Patch does is he gets people on side to hold him accountable, to challenge him, and to, spot the opportunities. So you got to actually have somebody you're going to report your progress to, or someone that's going to hold you accountable, because we can often forget or let ourselves down, but we hate to let others down. So, you again, serving the world in the way that you do, this was a goal of yours and now you're doing it. Kudos.
It's like I have a 21-year-old and a 31-year-old that I meet with once a month to hold me accountable to staying current.
Giddy up.
Just, otherwise you get out of touch when you get some of these gray hairs.
Wow. I was going to say, and a few other to keep you accountable, but I don't match any of those ages. So, all right. Do we have another question, Bonnie?
Yes, we have another one for both Patch and Mo. What was the best advice anyone ever gave you, and did you follow it?
Okay, I'm going to answer this one first. The best advice someone gave me was don't take yourself so seriously. And no, I did not follow it. And that's because my personality style tends to be a perfectionist and really driven. But I learned finally to take myself less seriously so I could show up more present as the real Mo. As someone said to me, is this the Mo we get every day, or is this the Mo we get on stage? And I got that advice, and since I've used that, I receive far more satisfaction from my work because I'm being present, just like you said earlier.
And that would be almost what I would say. But I think, I don't know who said it to me or where I read it, but treat people like you want to be treated.
Mm.
So that's what I try to do.
Very good. I like that. That was a great question. Thanks for asking that one. Do we have another? Not yet? Okay, I have one for you. So we just heard about, that was a great question. It leads into, and this is probably the advice you just gave, but you speak to so many people in the industry, both in the fitness industry and other industries. What would be the best advice that you could give someone that is stuck or they've hit a plateau in their career? And let's pinpoint this in the fitness industry. I met people who came back to CanFitPro just this summer at CanFitPro 2019 in Toronto, and they were emotional about their decision. They're like, I was wondering if I should come back. I left the profession because I was busy with life, kids. I'm so glad I came back but what would be your advice to someone that's feeling stuck or they've hit a plateau, they're unsure? What would you say?
That's kind of like saying you won the Stanley Cup 5 times in a row, now what?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like sometimes the plateau is a good thing. If it's not just having the best race of your life, it's, what am I doing that makes a difference? And if I just keep doing that, if I was a grade 3 teacher and I just kept turning out happy kids at the end of every grade 3 year, I would make a mark on the world forever. Because each one of those kids would affect other kids, would affect parents, would affect their children's children. So if I was a grade 3 teacher and I turned back and said, well, I've taught grade 3 for 30 years, did I make a difference? I think you did. I think you made a huge difference, right? You had 30 kids in the class, you taught 900 people how to have a better life.
Wow, and the compound effect of that.
Yeah, so people forget compound effects, like you just pointed out. It's like, there is no status quo. If you are still making a difference, the old thing is any day above ground's a good day, right? So if you're still making a difference, you're still making a difference. Mm-hmm. That's all it has to be, that you're still making a difference in your own life and others, right? And when I talk to people that are older, like let's say 85 years of age, and what adds value to your life, it's usually adding value to other people's lives.
It's very true.
Right?
Contribution.
So, yeah. And it doesn't have to be like off the chart significant. It just has to be in contact with people.
How you show up, how you choose to show up every day, right?
Right back to being present, right?
Right back to being present. That's so true. And I was listening to you and I was thinking to myself, as a trainer and instructor, been there, done, I'm doing both. I've been a trainer, I teach classes still today.
Or you're physio.
And I'm a physiotherapist, and I still stay active in my profession. I always attend something live. I upskill myself. But here's the thing that I have found, this is going to lead to our very last question for you, Patch, is that what keeps me passionate in the profession that I'm in is that I actively am in it as a recipient. I go to other people's classes. I train with a personal trainer. I'm constantly experiencing what it is that I get to deliver from the other side. And so, I wanted to ask, you have been a recipient of physiotherapy. You are actively in fitness, of course. For those who may or may not know, Patch had a double hip joint replacement. He never does anything small. He had a double hip joint replacement a year ago this past summer. So, a year and a half ago. And tell us what that was like, and was it at all humbling in terms of how you had to manage your physio, your fitness? How did it make you feel, and what did it teach you?
Well, so I've had arthritis for 35 years, right? So my hips had basically fallen apart. And so in the process of them falling apart the last 2 or 3 years, when I had to go from being able to run to not being able to run, to having to use a cane, to having to have a surgery, you look back on last week and say, last week was really good, right? And I got to save it this week because I don't know what's happening next week, right? And so then with arthritis, you don't know how you're going to heal. And, I got 2 new femurs, I got 2 new hips, so I got the whole
package deal.
And, and then, okay, how do I do rehab for this, right? And how do I get back, my glutes, and how do you rebuild your muscles, and how do you keep the rest of your body and mind sane? And, and I'm addicted to endorphins from regular exercise, right? And so how do you keep that up? It's because I exercised the day after the surgery. I was out in 12 hours, right? So I got in shape before the surgery, I got in shape afterwards. So that makes you frame things like, how do I add yoga to my weight training? How do I add cardio to my yoga? How do I mix all this up, right? So that was really intriguing. And so you can look upon this as a penalty, or you can look upon it as an opportunity, right? So from what I told the doctors I spoke to is, as I was going under, like as they put you to sleep, I was thinking about the first thing I would be doing when I came out. I had my meals pre-planned, right? I had my massage booked, right? And I had a picture of the exercise I would be doing, the skiing I would be doing, a run I would take, the walk I would have, so that inside my head and inside my heart, I was motivated to go to the next level.
Wow.
So that's where I think we have to operate from, not just in a semi-crisis or something like that, but if we wake up in the morning with an idea and a vision of what we want to do for the day, our day is going to be more powerful.
And your brain will only follow what you feed it. So
Yeah.
feed your brain the crisis or feed your brain the opportunity, and you'll probably steer yourself in that direction, right?
There's I don't know if it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but the symbol for crisis is the same as opportunity.
Wow.
So it's like, every time there's a challenge, it creates an opportunity for growth.
There you go. I think that's a perfect place, unless we have a quick question that we can answer quickly.
Absolutely. There's actually 2 questions. The first one is actually for Patch. What advice would you give to someone hoping to start a business similar to yours?
It's actually really simple. The more people you look after, the more you'll be happy. So you'll be successful if you make sure other people are successful. So when I hired my first staff person, if I made them successful, they would make members successful, and it grows. So look after other people and they'll look after you. And it's not any more complicated than that.
And it starts with the people. Yeah.
Awesome. The very last one is actually for both of you. What is your most favorite inspirational quote?
Favorite inspirational quote.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right.
Mine's pretty close. Don't let the things you can't do stop you from doing the things you can.
There you go. I like that. High five, my friend. Kind of similar. Think alike. It's scary. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
everybody.
you.
That was live
Appreciate
at
the
lunch
opportunity.
with Mo and Patch. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks.
Come back soon.
Okay.
Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.